Your questions are gold. We have to catch this.
So
we gotta define like what does all the way mean? Like
are you pushing it so like it just kind of flattens, kind of like flat pack Tupperware? Fill it with like a plasticine and then just
up like a loony, like a quarter roll where you just stick a bunch of quarters in and create like a.
Women have always had nature's pocket. They've got.
I would go to bus stops and be like, "Oh, bus is coming. Gotta get ready."
That's fucked up.
Just keep your money. I don't want it. Just get on the bus.
Pretty weird place to pickpocket somebody.
That's called that. There is a term for that. There is.
I feel like we're treading on some dangerous legal ground here.
Yes,
we are.
So with that, let's go.
This is why you don't get her to ask questions.
Okay, but yeah, Bruce, but you do not speak for the entirety of people that have penises.
As somebody who looks somewhat like a penis, I speak for us all. Now I'm gonna have to add like sexual health to the tags for this podcast.
I will go ahead and send a message to Human Anatomy and ask for an invert able to be pulled out.
Cute.
We're gonna push it. If we're gonna put, yeah, there we go.
I missed that whole entire thing. I'm sorry. Like, have you ever just sat there and just pulled it?
No.
Yes, absolutely I have. In fact, I did it like 20 minutes ago in preparation for this.
Like, so just you can flatten them out and make them into a cup.
What the
and
fuck?
catch water in them.
What?
We're deleting your Tumblr.
I don't have Tumblr. Oh, I do have Tumblr actually.
Tumblr did this to you.
No, it's not from Tumblr.
2020 Tumblr be like, I still have this?
I took the good porn off
I didn't
Tumblr.
block it at all.
Like,
Yes.
Bruce can hook me up like right now, I'm sure, if I asked. If you're gonna go for any Bandicoot, it's gotta be Crash.
Yeah. Okay. Bruce.
Can we intro this for real now? I want all of that cut, please.
No, what we'll do is we'll have like the fast forward feature, and it'll be like. So like if I want it pulled out,
Oh god.
you gotta go for Bandicoot if there's gonna be anything. Just like fast forward through it all.
Aaron, you're editing this. That's all good for you.
I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out.
Okay, so one tangential conversation later, Dialog Trees, episode 3. There was some Dark Souls in there, so I'd like to start with that, specifically because this is one of my worst qualities. I've been subjecting Aaron to it a lot lately. Brayden's called me out for it, and that is...
Dude, you just gotta stop sending me hentai unprompted. Like, I might be on the bus, I might be in my job.
Dude, unsolicited
sudden,
hentai?
bam!
No, you can't do that.
Yeah,
I don't think we
share
need a
it.
whole segment for us to tell you that that's wrong.
Okay, well, that was done. Could I have a new one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And you can have a freebie.
Gatekeeping in video games. For me, maybe I'm a little niche case, but for me, I gatekeep the Souls series. I
say that you think you're a niche case in that regard.
No.
Bruce,
I mean,
there are
like,
thousands of
I'm not
people
the
like
only
you.
one. What I meant by that was like, I'm not gonna be like, you're a fake gamer girl. No, I'm gonna be like, you're a fake Souls player. You use summons. And Aaron's been playing through Demon Souls lately, and every time he plays, I mock him because he summons his friend Andrew, and that's for quitters.
I want to put this out there. Literally right before this podcast, I was just playing, and I one-shot everything now because I did that glitch in Demon Souls.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm gatekeeping you. I feel bad about it. I know I need to improve, but also you need to get good. So
I am good.
gatekeeping in general, aside from the silly kind of jokes we all play with each other, is it ever really, like, how bad is it really? Because I understand, like, what I do with Demon Souls and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, like all those, that's not right. That's not inviting for people. People don't want to come into a game and be told they're playing it wrong. Like, the whole point of a video game is immerse yourself, do what you want.
Yeah.
I'm the asshole here. But
Yes, you are.
Yes, we all know that.
Is there ever a time when it's like, yeah, okay, like, is there ever a time it doesn't just instantly turn people off? And
Absolutely not.
then I guess, yeah.
I think I will answer your question with another question. Can we please, as a community of gamers, just decide to take the sacred cow status away from the Souls franchise? They're not untouchable. They're not holy and pristine. Can we please stop pretending it's a rite of passage to play these games? Like,
No.
I get it. We
I
love
would
them.
say yes, but in order to do so, we'd have to get rid of the Souls-like genre as a whole. And
No,
I don't know
keep
if
the
game
genre.
journalists
I like-
are right.
I like the genre. I like
No,
the genre.
I think
just-
that's something that comes in, that whether we like it or not, that kind of gatekeeping comes in tandem with the genre, because it's just a meme at this point, right?
Honestly, it's
I'm
kind of a
thinking-
genre that has to have it. Like, it's not really an inviting genre in the first place. Like, most people
Yeah.
play the game, can't beat the first boss, and say fuck this game and just ditch it. So then it is people like Bruce that just play through the game. They're like, oh my god, this is a holy grail. If anyone desecrates this thing, I will fucking shit on their
I'll openly
grave.
admit, there's some shit in all the Souls games, and I'm not even just talking about Poison Swamps.
Fuck
I just-
Poison Swamps.
Like, I don't know, just like, don't come at me, bro, and be like, oh man, I used 4 summons on the Nameless King. Motherfucker, just like fucking do it.
Just beat him,
go
forehead.
fight him. Yeah, just beat him. Like, people do it no hit. Just fucking get good.
So I just finished up Blasphemous, which is a 2D Dark Souls-like set in this wonderfully twisted Spanish Catholic inspired world. It's got all the hallmarks of a Souls-like bonfires. It's got slight RPG systems, punishing bosses.
Poison Swamp?
Bullshit. There is a poison swamp.
Oh,
and
good,
bullshit
good,
bosses.
good.
And so I've just beat it. And there were parts of that game that were really frustrating. There were parts of that game where I felt like I had an advantage because I was familiar with that type of game. Do I feel like a better gamer for having beaten it? No. Because it's just a game that asks a certain level of difficulty, and once you can cheese the system, that's it. And like, cheesing the system is synonymous with get good, because you learn what the game will do and you learn how to deal with it. That I don't think is that, like, if you put anybody in front of a pattern, eventually they'll recognize the pattern. And I don't think that the Souls games are particularly punishing in that regard. I think it's just a case of once people learn how to play it, they're going to have fun with it. It's not like you need to be a true gamer in order to really delve into the fires of this and get into it. It's just patience.
You look
So-
like you're breaking Bruce's heart right now. Like, you just slowly
A
get
little
further and
bit.
further
A
away.
little
Like,
bit.
oh.
Like, so my question is,
I'm taking his foundational ideal, and I'm just like,
Just shattering
Well,
his mind.
you say that because, like, right now I'm replaying Breath of the Wild, and I'm
Yeah.
actually doing the game this time. I'm not just skipping straight to Ganon and not do. You can shoot lightning in that game. Like. You what? There's power ups. You can just shoot lightning.
This
after
game
you
is
rescue
longer than 3
Urbosa.
hours? What the fuck?
Yeah, but also I'm doing it with only 3 hearts, and I'm refusing anything else. I have the Master Sword, and then I took all the extra heart containers and sold them for money. And like, fuck it, I don't need it. One shot me, bro. It's fine.
But,
Like,
but are you gonna sit there now and call everyone else a fake gamer if they decide to play it normally?
yeah.
Oh my god.
I understand this is a me problem, but like,
So your question wasn't, is there cases in which gatekeeping is good? The question
it's,
is,
can you forgive me?
can you forgive me for gatekeeping? I will answer you with
Yes.
this. I say, Bruce, I think that style of play is totally cool. I'm glad that the game supports these different ways to go about it. I think, especially with Breath of the Wild, a game that emphasizes freedom and creativity already, what is the point of drawing a line in the sand and saying you haven't played this game unless you've done this? Motherfucker, I bought the game for $80. I'm gonna do whatever I want with it. I can go and throw it off the roof if I want. I did
Absolutely,
that. I bought
you
it.
can. There's. I see. This is the thing. It's like when it comes to doing a game the hardest way possible. It's like, yes, this is how to do it because like I'm not a competitive person except against myself. Like after I stopped playing sports as a teenager, I was like, fuck it, I don't need to compete against other people anymore. But I got really into competing against myself.
But Bruce, now you're competing against everyone because you're like, well, if you don't do it this way, you're not a real fucking competitor.
No, I need
You're not even in the competition if you don't play it this way.
I need validation that I'm playing video games okay. That I'm not wasting my life.
I think
gotta
that in
validate
terms of
yourself.
Difficulty is such a subjective thing that what I was just calling blasphemous difficult because bullshit difficult because there are one-hit kills on spikes. And if you mess up one platforming mistake, that's it. You have to go back from the checkpoint and do it. I think that's bullshit. Other people might say that's just the stakes that the game has raised. You knew ahead of time that those were going to kill you in one hit. That's on you for not taking that into account. Is that bullshit or not? It's not something that's set in stone. It's something that I feel about it. And somebody could approach that game and say, none of this is fair. I can't do this. And I don't think that that's a wrong statement to have. That just means it's not your game.
So, like, I'm a big proponent for accessibility in gaming.
Except when it comes to you.
No, so here's the thing. So like having different vision modes, having different control, button layouts, the ability to skip QTEs, the ability to not have to hold down a button because those motor functions can be troublesome for some people. And I'm a huge proponent for all of that, like difficulty levels, everything. But as soon as it's me, I'm like, no, this is wrong. Like, I want those there for people who need them. But then, like, I will refuse to use them. And as my friends, I'm going to ridicule you for using them. I'm never going to, like, go on Reddit and tell somebody that they're playing the game wrong.
Yeah, I feel like you're progressing towards that.
No, I
don't know.
Write to Reddit. I write an angry Reddit comment, then delete it before I post it.
Okay,
Smart.
I have a question for you though. So let's say eventually, like, my left arm gets injured. I can't use it anymore. All I have is my right hand. Sure, I have these accessibility things, but I can't beat any bosses in Souls now, and I have to use summons. Are you gonna gatekeep me?
Bro, summon me. I will fucking put my summons.
I'll fucking summon him. He'll beat it and bitch at me the entire time for using summons.
Better question.
Yeah.
You lose your arm. You are not able to play Souls games the same way that you do, but you go ahead and you do it anyway. Soul level 0. And now Bruce is sitting there thinking, if he can do this.
So sometimes when I'm feeling sort of lazy, I'll put the controller on one leg and I'll just use my right hand and just control the game with one hand while I'm texting with the other, so I can keep running to not have to waste time. And like I've gotten used to using the left stick with my pinky and then like the right with my index, so I can hold buttons with my thumb. Like, don't threaten me.
Why
with
are you
time.
like this?
No, man.
Just as we're
Like,
saying
this
like,
wasn't so much a question for discussion as much as it was a cry for help.
You were either looking for validation for how you are, or you were looking for help, and we're saying you need help.
Dear
This is
Father,
cheaper
I
than a
have sinned.
therapist.
I have called Souls scrub. I have called Souls players scrubs for using summons, and like the priest like opens up the confessional. Like, you want to say that again?
Like one of our friends is playing Dark Souls remastered on Switch, and like nobody plays on Switch. And when I keep seeing him log in because we're friends online, and I'm like, oh man, so I sent him a message, just like, dude, let's play co-op sometime. Like, this will be great. He's like, oh yeah, that would be awesome. This is my first time through the game. I'm stuck in Blight Town, and I was like, oh, well,
you're
like,
a filthy casual.
Get through that, like, fucking, just let me know when you beat the game so we can do a playthrough together. And he's like, well, that's gonna be like a year from now. And I'm like, oh well, there goes my fun.
You
Like-
must walk this path alone. Jesus.
You must.
Hey, I'll play with you, but like this is my first time through. Oh yeah, never mind. just go play it
Exactly
yourself.
what I did. It's exactly what I did, and I know I'm the asshole.
Gatekeeping is. I think that gatekeeping in the industry is an issue. I don't think gatekeeping based on difficulty is necessarily like. I think the most like important conflict to have, because I think at the sole base root of it all, we understand that's a little ridiculous. But like, it's fun to engage in the conversation. But like, I think we all realize like it's stupid. Like, I'm doing a 3-heart run through of Breath of the Wild because I like punishment. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like gatekeeping for real is a real thing, and it's minority groups who basically anybody who's not a straight white identifying male identifying person. It's like I can't speak to this because like I am so not gate kept that like I will gatekeep my friends for stupid bullshit. Like I'm the last person who should be talking about this, but like I'm sure like many people who we know in our personal lives have gone through this, and it's pretty serious. And like, I mean, eventually I really want to talk to some e-athletes about how hard it was for them to break into the scene, because there are so few non-male identifying people in pro esports, and like what?
The difficulty conversation, I did actually have one thought about like a positive, and it is related to the Souls franchise. I think that there was a little bit of the myth of the franchise that like surrounded it because of all the gatekeeping that was one of the things that pushed me to it in the first place. Like, I was interested in it because people were gatekeeping it, and I needed to know like, what's the big deal? And it challenged me to do something I don't normally do, which is voluntarily sign up for a game that everybody's telling me is super, super difficult. Because usually I'm is there a story difficulty option? Let's do that. I just want to see the world and experience the writing. I don't particularly care about having a hard time. But I challenged myself to do that with something like Bloodborne because I heard it was hard, and I wouldn't get that without the gatekeeping. So in one sense, it helped push me to discover something new that I liked. And it was because of that. I don't think the benefits outweigh the negatives of the behavior, though.
So at what point does it go from like a secret club kind of mentality of like, oh, you don't know the password, to just like a toxic cesspool of like, you're a degenerate for not doing this kind of thing?
I think it's as the gaming community grows. So when like Demon Souls came out, it was just like a small minority, but now it's like this huge thing. You get that with any fan base.
I actually think it's not the size of it that counts. I think it's the tone of the conversation. Like what you just described, Bruce. One is an invitation. You can get in once you find the password. And that's like, I want people to experience this, so I'm going to help them get here because I think it's worth it.
But that's why I don't want people summoning.
Totally.
Sorry, that's why I don't want my friends
But
summoning. Because
you don't
I want them to
you don't want them to
enjoy-
get to the ending of Dark Souls. You want to experience the same feeling that you did. So you're gatekeeping out of a sense of, I had fun like this, I think you'll have fun like this too. Yeah, I think it becomes dangerous when it's our thing, you don't have it because you didn't do this, so you suck.
There we go. That I think is the difference. This is a bad analogy, but it's like not telling your friend the spoiler, just telling them it's a good movie. versus like you're not allowed to watch this movie because you didn't watch the 10 prequels to Avengers.
You don't
Right,
know the
it's like
context.
that
you
kind of
don't
thing.
know you don't
Yeah.
know the culture.
You know
that
how many
kind of
people
thing.
probably did that for Endgame?
Yeah,
Whatever.
no, I'm sure. I'm sure there was outgame gatekeeping. I think like going back to like the World of Warcraft
I think you found
example, like the people who are like, I was there with WoW Classic, so you don't have any right to talk about the game now because you joined on much later in the franchise. Versus, oh man, I wish you could go back and experience the same thing that I loved back in the day in 2004. Like that's I think once the tone of the conversation changes from inviting to exclusionary is when the community becomes toxic.
Actually,
That's
I'll say
fair.
that
And-
happened with Kingdom Hearts
Yep.
on Xbox. Everyone was like shitty on them, say you can't play this game on Xbox because you haven't played all the other games because it was on Sony and Nintendo systems. You have no right to have this game on your system. I remember that was a pretty big thing.
All right, which Kingdom Hearts was this?
3.
Oh fuck it, they can have it. Not even one to fight over.
People did the same thing with Final Fantasy 15, didn't they?
I think it was 13 before that because that one was on Xbox.
It was 13. Yes, 13 was the
Yeah.
first one. It's like, cool, you don't have an exclusive anymore. Whatever. You'd be fucking ecstatic if Halo came to PS4.
Well, even then,
No.
like I think Final Fantasy is
Yes.
different because each game is just its own thing. So like, who cares if you didn't? Play the
PlayStation owners
other
are not
12?
holding up for Halo. Let me tell you, as a proud
Yeah, oh, yeah.
PlayStation owner, we are they can have it. I got my God of War. I'm happy.
Can you imagine people were angry with 13, and then by the time 13, 2, and 3, they're like, no, make those exclusive to Xbox.
We don't want that anymore.
I think it's because the only people commenting at that point were those that liked 13, because everyone that hated 13 jumped ship and was not touching the sequels with a 10-foot pole.
I own the collector's edition of 13 too, and I've never played it.
Like, I know why.
Hey, Bruce, instead of gatekeeping stuff, why don't you just go play your games?
You're on to talk. All right.
I'm not
last thing on this
gatekeeping.
topic. Listen, I don't want you to summon because I want you to enjoy the game like I did. I want you to sit for 9 hours straight, bashing your head against Ludwig the Holy Blade until your roommate comes home and finds you lying on the floor, laughing uncontrollably in the pitch darkness. And then when you get a cat to memorize or to memento that occasion, you name him Ludwig. That's what I want for you, man. That's just what I want for all my friends.
You want your friends to have mental breakdowns.
Yeah, I don't want to be alone. Misery loves company.
Oh my God, that was some funny shit.
Yeah, that's 9 hours. 9 hours. It was a good time. It was a hard.
I
boss.
left for work. You were still fighting Ludwig. I came back. And you were broken. You were a done man.
I had barely killed him by the time you got home.
It's not even that hard.
Oh.
You know, I'm leaving this. I'm done. I'm washing my hands.
This podcast is
because-
for you two. I'm gonna walk away and go fight Ludwig with one hand now.
It's gonna be a dick measuring contest of our Souls achievements, and I'm not ready for that.
No. I think it's a thing where like Souls is such a franchise where everybody has their own sticky spots they just never want to touch again. Like I cannot do
Like the Bloody Crow of Canehurst.
Yep, nope, can't do that fight. I'm so bad at it. It's all a parry thing, and I do not know how to parry in Bloodborne. You might say,
there was that time I perfected him, like sitting across from you on our co-op run. Or when I say co-op, I mean couch co-op, where we were passing the controller off. So,
Because real co-op is wrong, right?
Yes.
Can we talk about that? I know it's not a thing that we had discussed, but I lament the loss of local co-op as a standard feature in console games.
Dude,
it's so nice.
I have so many memories of being like 16 and showing up at my buddy Zach's place for the weekend and either just playing through Horde mode on Gears or going through zombies. Like, I'd just get attacked and be like, yo, Moonbase. And I'd be like, over at his place. We'd be blasting Avenged Sevenfold, drinking monsters, and
God.
just being bad at zombies. Like that was.
Wait,
the
as soon as you mentioned
best.
Call of Duty Zombies, that is what the rest of my mind filled in the blank.
Yeah.
That surprised me.
Dude, it was like that was the fucking best. Like, I miss like at the time we dug out my PS3 and did Scott Pilgrim co-op together. Like that was so good. Like
The past year, I've been continually purchasing video games, assuming that, okay, they're known for their co-op. They'll have local co-op. They don't. Bad on me for a consumer for not researching that, but it just
Bad on them
sucks.
for not having it.
Bad on them for not having it. Like Divinity, Original Sin 1 is a RPG that's released for consoles, released for PC, has local co-op. It's a fantastic experience. Being able to play an RPG like that with your friend and do both stupid shit and just kind of like develop parties in different ways. It's not the best of games.
It's an okay game. Like
It's an okay game. Divinity Original Sin 2 for the Switch. Awesome port. Love having that game on the Switch. Love having that game on the go. Doesn't have local co-op. So all of a sudden, this thing that I was really excited to share with the person that I'm living with, my girlfriend, I can't because we can't do it like that. We have to use either the computer, which is now toast, thanks to me being an idiot and spilling water all over it. Whoops.
Just put it in rice.
It's an
Put
MSI
the whole thing in
laptop.
rice.
It's not gonna fit.
Just go buy a bag of rice. TNT.
Get more right. Get more.
Fill
rice.
your bathtub with rice.
That's bathtub with rice. There we go.
First thing that
In
my
fact,
dad
you know,
said to
just
me too, and I'm
to,
like, "What
just
rice?"
to make sure, spill water on more things, so then you can justify using the
Ooh.
bathtub for everything. Yeah, efficiency.
I'll just submerge with the computer and come out a day
Yeah,
later.
next podcast from your bathroom, you're in the bathtub with rice and your laptop.
Right.
Yeah, no water, just rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not making a stew or cooking or anything. Like, you're just drying out.
Anyway, specifically with consoles, I feel like local co-op is a big selling point because it's not necessarily something I would do with somebody in a PC environment. So, but with a game console, it's so easy for people who are normally like not chasing out titles to play when you just hand them a controller. Like, I think that's for me one of the biggest advantages of local co-op, and it sucks that it's not showing up in new releases.
The reason I never bought Doom 2016 was because it didn't have co-op. Like, I just wanted to play that with friends and be like, yo, like, let's just rip and tear. And there's no co-op at all. And I'm like, oh, like, I know that it's not a series known for co-op or anything, but like,
It'd be cool if it had it.
Just blow up some fucking, like, co-op's cool in any game but Dark Souls.
I think that it depends on the game, because as those of you who like Dead Space are aware, Dead Space 3 was a co-op game built from the ground up with co-op in the mind. It was a survival horror franchise. Exactly. Like, it's one of those examples, I think, where the inclusion of co-op was a bad thing, but its presence is not unwelcome. It's just like, I wish it wasn't put in
They
the
have
way
like
it
a
was.
separate mode for co-op, not the whole game for
Not the
design
story.
for co-op.
Yeah.
So you didn't like Resident Evil 5 either, or?
I didn't like Resident Evil 5 because of the racism. Oops.
Yeah, no, that's a good reason.
I hated the game before it came out because they're like, oh, you thought the dark was scary? Just wait until you see the sunshine. They literally said that. They literally fucking said that. The light can be just as scary as the dark. Like, no, I'm not buying your game anymore.
Risk melon arm Redfield.
Boulder punching 3000.
Hell yeah.
But sorry, I just want to go back to that for a sec. You brought up like survival horror as co-op, but like we have seen that become a genre now. We have games like Dead by Daylight, which is a different experience than like a narrative-driven survival horror, but it's like a survival horror. And we have things like, is it In Silence, the one with the rake?
I argue
think
that
so.
it's impossible to really be scared if you're doing it with friends.
I'd argue like Phasmophobia for like the first little bit it is, just because random shit's happening. Everyone's like in different spots. But yeah, I do typically agree. It's not really scary with other people.
I would say to a point, but you have to be able to.
I think it can be startled with friends. Absolutely. I don't think you can be horrified.
I think it would depend on the game.
You just have to. You have to get rid of your disbelief, because it's very possible to be scared with your friends in scary situations. I almost fucking pissed myself at a haunted house this Halloween, and because my friends were the reason for part of it, and because they were like, "Hey, catch up," and I was like, "It's okay, I'll make new friends, guys. It's cool." And I was like, "Right, you'll be my friend." And I turned around, and there was somebody there staring at me, and I screamed, and it was the most Scooby-Doo shit that's ever happened. It was literally,
Amazing.
"No, go on. These guys will be my buddies, right?" And they were just like, like, it was awful. And like
that dude behind you was probably shitting himself. He's like, "Holy fuck! How does this guy know I'm here?"
Like, that was the thing, is I called it, and then I was scared that I called it. But like, you can take that experience into a video game for sure. It's just hard to do, but you can get like that. There is a comfort to having your friends, but I think you can still get that experience in co-op.
I think for like a horror game, like everyone would have to be pretty like defenseless. Like something like Resident Evil, you have like fucking machine guns, RPGs. You're not going to be scared in that.
People had a long departure from the horror tradition.
Resident Evil's
a while
not
back.
scary anymore, anyways. But like for games like that, it's hard to be scared in. Phasmophobia, where anyone can die at any point, yeah, it's a little more scary.
I think it just requires like such a willing agreement on the part of both people to be like, yeah, let's be scared. Like, it's so easy to crack the tension when you have friends, but like as long as everybody's on board, you could totally have a great time. I'm reminded of stuff like I was watching something on YouTube where it was two Let's Players going through a mission in SWAT 4, which is a tactical shooter in the style of like, you're playing a police officer busting into a crime scene, and you have to arrest people and be very careful in your approach and stuff. And they were taking it very seriously as they were like investigating this serial killer's apartment. And like, it was cool to see two people that were normally very boisterous and funny make that social agreement to be like, let's take this seriously. Let's agree to be scared. But I think it's a rare thing, and the slightest crack can break that immersion.
So co-op for over the top ridiculous things, maybe not so much for serious things.
I think just anything, like if like the mood of a piece is aiming more towards being serious, adding in the additional element of two people playing together will always find a way to kill it. Like, I don't know if anybody was...
Everybody just wants to fuck over their friend.
Yeah, like if anybody remembers A Way Out a couple of years ago, for being like, we have a very strong narrative piece, and we want to tell a complex story about two criminals, coming to compromises and finding a daring escape. Actually seeing people play that game, nobody took it seriously. The whole Shawshank Redemption-esque vibe of the narrative just like got kicked out the window because you have two jackasses handing a controller and trying to find ways to screw each other over and stupid, like, not doing a quick time event, laughing and slow. Yes. Anyway.
I would co-op with you guys.
I would like that too. I just wouldn't want to do it in a game like where I'm like, this is super artistic and I want to focus and absorb every aspect of the narrative.
I mean, I think Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is the most artistic game of all time.
Papers, Please is the most artistic game of all time. Georgie,
Georgie,
my boy.
Georgie's
my boy,
homie.
Honestly, what a revelation that game was. Like, I've never had more fun scanning for pixels on a screen than going like opening, having my little desk ready, getting a pamphlet, going scanning through the book very.
Oh
quickly.
god, where's the error? Where's the error?
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna say it. You guys enjoyed gatekeeping too. Don't lie to me. It's fun.
Oh yeah. Gatekeeping about what?
Papers, Please doesn't count.
I'm not gatekeeping.
Papers, Please. Absolutely. No, Papers, Please is about gatekeeping, motherfucker. You enjoyed that shit.
I enjoy subverting the communist rule. Excuse you. I would let people in
I just
all
wanted
the
to bring
time.
glory to my country. Like, sorry, I was doing my job. You're
I
not
will
getting
say-
paid to gatekeep.
Gaming has hit a recent renaissance lately with post-Soviet Union communist collapse video games, which is such a niche genre, but they've all been killer. Maybe Papers, Please, and Disco Elysium. Those are the only two that I can think of off the top of my head.
But they're good.
That's what Disco Elysium's about? Thanks for the spoiler.
Yeah, what the fuck?
How are you? It literally
You were
is.
supposed to play through it with me, and then
Yes.
we started playing Divinity.
Yes, and we had a lot of fun with that. God, Disco Elysium is a game that wears its politics on its sleeve, and I love it for it. It's basically all just about how communism sucked and destroyed the nations that it was a part of.
Imagine saying
Classic.
communism sucked.
Yeah. Fun stuff in the Eastern Bloc.
All right, I say we just steer this back onto a real topic.
Yes, please.
Well, let's talk about leaks in the video game industry then. Are they good? Are they bad? Both for like on a personal level, as like a more broad gamer level, and as like a company level.
More fan of like asparagus than anything else.
God damn it.
As long as the 11 Polka's playing, I'm fine with leaks.
I think it's a bad thing when leaks impact the studio. Because we've seen cases of like the publisher cracking down on a studio because of a leak and like treating the developers like crap because it's like, oh, the public got released an early build of the game and they don't like it. Change everything.
I have some thoughts on these, but I'd like to present them after you guys have given your takes because, like, I was thinking about this while listening to a news piece about leaks or potential rumors of leaks, or just rumors, I guess, in the games industry. And I was thinking when a rumor becomes a leak. And so I just want to know your guys' thoughts before I delve into mine.
All right, fair. What about you? What's your immediate take on the topic, Aaron? Since you
So
are bringing it up.
on like a personal level, I both like love and hate leaks. Like obviously, like for the long, I've been waiting. Fuck, when did Arkham Knight come out? 2016, 2015. I've been waiting a long ass time for a new Batman game, and for a long time now, I've been hearing rumors of like a Court of Owls game, and I'm so pumped. And then Warner Brothers Montreal starts like doing all these weird ass fucking stunts, like putting Batman symbols on buildings, and then we go a year without hearing anything. So I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck? This is pissing me off. And then all of a sudden, earlier this year, we start getting leaks of a new Batman game. But you're not playing as Batman, you're playing as his sidekicks. I'm like, okay, that actually sounds pretty cool. And then again, nothing. And eventually it gets announced. So leaks like that, I kind of love. But like, you get something like StarCraft 2 where you have the entire ending leaked like 2 years before it comes out. That kind of sucks, because then you're like, do I want to play this game when I fucking know the story?
Did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Like Legacy of the Void leaked?
Leaked 2 years
Before any-
earlier.
What the hell?
Yeah, because they had people, contractors, whatever, like working on doing like presentation shit for it, and they thought the game had already released, so they like started putting all their stuff online, and then Blizzard's like, "Hey guys, we just released our entire ending."
This 3 games, like,
Yeah. I worked on StarCraft 2, with the most like award-winning sci-fi game of all time. You know that we're releasing it in 3 chunks, right? Is that what StarCraft 2 means? I thought you were just releasing the whole thing. Nope.
Yeah, that was the
It's
problem.
a
They released in
prequel,
chunks.
baby.
They had no
We
idea.
print money.
Mm.
So my thoughts on this is it comes to the question of when does a rumor become a leak? And that goes to what you said about Batman. So like right now there's rumors of, and there's been rumors for a little bit. They've been going on about Sony trying to patch up things between Kojima and Konami so they can get Silent Hills back into his hands. That's a rumor. But there's more and more proof coming out of it happening. So when does that rumor become a leak that it's real? On top of that, there's another rumor that Bluestone, I think that's the name, the guys who did the Demon Souls remake,
Bluepoint.
Bluepoint, are doing a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake. So when do these remake for PS5?
Is it a
So
remake of
when-
the remake, or is this just a remake of the
Oh,
first
goddamn
one?
it. So
This is some Kojima shit right there.
Twin
Forget
Snakes
Oscar Isaac.
reboot deluxe. like when does this rumor become a leak? Because we can look at what happened with Cyberpunk, and that was a leak. The whole game came out. People broke street date for release.
The whole game did not come out in a leak, I don't think. I think it was the first 30 minutes of a playthrough.
Nope, the people got their hands on the discs. The physical game discs.
Oh,
and the
shit.
game has not come out yet. The whole game has leaked. It's missing the day one patch, so the quality of life things aren't there, but the entire story, everything that went gold, is there. That game leaked. So when does that rumor become a leak?
I think it's at that point when you have like a physical evidence to point to and say like, here it is. I think it's like when you have
So when you have proof.
when you have a document or a video of some kind to kind of like back up your claims about what's in the game. Usually it's because it involves an inside element.
But it's hard to say because something could leak and then the studio's like, well, fuck, they know that. Let's change it now.
Yeah. Or when things are like cut content, you know, like you can get a leak of this is what's going to happen, but you're 2 years into a 5-year dev cycle and that just gets left on the cutting room floor or gets folded into something new. And either you never know for sure, even though it was true, or you don't find out for years after as people start to reveal design documents. Like, what makes a leak, I think is a good question, because I think rumors are good because they can help build hype, and that's part of marketing and getting people excited and gauging interest. Like, people are talking about getting Kojima back on Silent Hills, and I've been kind of following this on and off for months, and there's stories of him approaching Junji Ito, an amazing Japanese cosmic horror writer and artist, and like there's stories of Junji Ito being like, yeah, like I met him at a party and we talked and that was it. But it's like, are they working together? Are they not going to work together? They've both said they'd like to work together, and that builds hype, and that's dope. But I think if somebody were to just like info dump a whole bunch of stills or like an alpha version of PT2, like that's a leak, and I don't know if I'd like that. I
think that the thing is that with leaks, what oftentimes happens is that you wind up kind of getting a out of context view of the content, and things out of context can sound so stupid, but then you actually approach it with the proper context of the game and things make a lot more sense.
Good example of that's Resident Evil 8. Earlier this year that started to leak. I'm like, witches, zombies, and armor? What the fuck? Sounds really fucking stupid.
What?
Yeah, like a shit ton of stuff for Resident Evil 8 leaked around the same time as the Gotham Knights stuff. And
I thought you were talking about Last of Us Part 2, because that was the illusion that I was kind of getting towards, was that game had a humongous leak, and then people were approaching it and saying, this is awful, I can't believe that this stuff is in the game, but without the context, it just doesn't mean the same thing as it would if you approached it, you know, in the thing of it all, in the proper emotional journey. But yeah, no, Resident Evil 8, I have no idea what's going on with that one.
I thought 7 kind of put it back in reality with like the mold and everything. I mean, once they introduced Chris Redfield in the DLC or whatever, like that was kind of like trying to jump the shark again.
They toned down his muscles, so it's okay. And changed his character model, and people were pissed about that. Capcom.
I mean, I get it. Like, I'm still pissed they got rid of David Hayter. So for Snake, so I can understand people being angry about stuff like that.
That's understandable. I don't blame you for that one. That was a dick move.
What's the leak that you've personally been most disappointed by? Like you heard it and your heart just dropped.
Dropped because it was really shitty, or dropped because I didn't want to know it?
Either or. Speaking for myself, I remember getting a Mass Effect 3 leak before that game launched, and just like my heart just like exploded because people were like, "Oh, you're not going to like the ending." The leak wasn't accurate to what happens in the ending, but it was still conveying the theme of what was going to happen. And I remember that hitting me and making me filled with this all sorts of dread before actually picking up the game. I wish that I had never heard that leak in the first place, because then I wouldn't have walked in with this all of a sudden expectation of crap.
But would you have been more disappointed if you didn't have a leak that like kind of set the bar low?
No, I don't think so, because I think that once you prime your expectations, you receive information differently. Like that colors your perception, and then you might think of things more negatively than you already did. I think it's very hard for a game to like honestly surprise you.
Well,
this is just me speaking, though.
Bruce?
I go out of my way to avoid leaks. Like, I don't watch trailers for games. I don't watch trailers for movies. I like don't click on like Reddit threads when things are coming out. Like, I do my damnedest to not have that. And like, I think the only one I can think of is I asked for it because you told me it was that. Spoiler alert right here.
Spoiler alert
Hyrule
for what?
Warriors.
Yes.
Hyrule Warriors. Spoiler alert, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. 3, 2, 1. They put time travel back in. So they did all this work to take 3 fucking timelines and combine them in one, and then they're like, I'll fucking do it again. I wasn't I wasn't angry. It's just like, why, Nintendo? like you have one cohesive narrative now. What are you fucking
I mean, they
doing?
can keep it cohesive, just they now have the ability to, again, split it off into, like, 5 different timelines.
That's the opposite of cohesion.
That's just that they choose to go down that path.
So yeah, that's my most disappointing leak, which it's only a leak because I sought it out. Well, it's not a leak because I sought it out, but like I
offered it to you.
Yeah, you offered it, and I was like,
"Hey, do you want to know what Nintendo did?" It's like, yes, I need to know. Fucking tell me.
Fucking Nintendo bingo is just going off the charts right now.
Yeah.
I think my most disappointed one was probably Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. All the Shion stuff. I didn't need to know that going in. I was kind of disappointed.
I never finished that game, and I don't exactly know what happens to Shion. I just know that like she's Sora's clone. She's Roxas's clone of Sora, and they recombine, and like none of it makes sense. And then they try and like shoehorn her in to like Dream Drop Distance in 3, and it's like none of this makes sense, guys.
I love Kingdom Hearts spoilers because you could tell me what happens in that game, but I honestly don't know if that's supposed to be secret information or not. Like, I'll just accept it point blank. You're just like, did you know that Roxas is a clone of Sora? Like, okay. Actually, he's more like his personal heart, soul, given manifest form by the digital era. It's like, Okay.
But don't forget, he's also the personal heart soul given manifest by the digital era of another guy who was weakened so much he had to send his heart to slumber in Sora so he could regain, and that's why Sora and Roxas don't look alike.
Amazed by people telling me what happens in those games because I'm like, sure, that happens. All right. Oh no.
Oh, did you guys
And
also
this
know
is
that
why
like Ven is like one of the original like Keyblade people? Like he's over
I thought
1,000
he
years old.
literally was. I thought he was the Keyblade.
No, like Kingdom Hearts UX or whatever, the
Ventus-
fucking mobile game.
Yeah,
Ventus is from that time.
Are the manifestation of the Keyblade, and I don't mean Key, I mean like Greek letter Chi.
It should have been called Keyblade. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, like it's like, God, like
No, they were used to
Can
form
we-
that, but like Ven is over 1,000 years old. Like Master and Master's like time period, he's from that time. He just somehow got into the future. It's awesome. Don't you love Kingdom Hearts?
yeah. But here's the thing: that doesn't even surprise me because the whole game's about time
Fuck you!
traveling
None
and
of that
having
surprises me
clothes.
anymore.
God,
See if I can pull up a authoritative full story recap on Kingdom Hearts.
there are two.
Yeah,
one
Bruce
is
can
by
hook you up with a
Brian
video.
David Gilbert, and the other one is the one I watched with you at midnight one night, and I showed you and made you sit for an hour.
Oh my god, amazing.
I can't handle Kingdom Hearts right now.
Can anyone?
Nobody can handle Kingdom Hearts right now.
I'm still pissed that I'm told like, hey, you're gonna find out what's in this box at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. End of Kingdom Hearts 3. Guess what? You don't get to find out what's in the fucking box. Go buy another game. Fuck.
Box.
We can attribute a lot of like what's going on with
What's in the box? What is the box?
We don't know. No, the box from fucking that like movie thing that came out with the Kingdom Hearts 2.8.
Yeah. So I think that with
What?
Kingdom Hearts, a lot of the discussion around it revolves around a specific creator. Because there's one person that people keep pointing to whenever they talk about Kingdom Hearts. That they go, it's Tetsuya Nomura, that bastard. He's taken my beautiful fan fiction world and twisted it and turned it inside out.
But can you
And-
really twist fan fiction if it's fan fiction?
My beautiful Disney X Squall fan fiction is now completely messed up. I don't know what to make of it anymore.
Dreamy, though.
But Squall isn't he like Leon in that game?
Yes.
Why does he have a different name? Why isn't he just Squall?
Squall.
Anyway.
Leon is cooler than Squall.
It's true. But that leads into my topic that I want to talk about today, which was the auteur game developer. These are the game developers who are not just a name in a credit list. These are somebody whose name you know, you recognize, and you're going into the game to find out. And I think that they're gotten more important in the past 10 years than we've ever seen. I think it's very interesting, both in good and bad ways. The example I'm going to point to mostly is going to be Sean Murray of Hello Games, No Man's Sky. That man was more involved in the discussion around that game than any other developer I had ever seen in that point. When people talked about No Man's Sky, they were talking about Sean Murray. When they were talking about Sean Murray, they were talking about No Man's Sky. And people had personal beef with that dude. They were sending him death threats. They were having just this whole very involved relationship with him as a guy whose job it is to pitch the game. And it was interesting to see how that worked. And then the opposite came true when I and many other people saw a video by Internet Historian a couple of months ago.
Ian Goodening.
Yes, that talked about No Man's Sky, and it talked about Sean Murray, and it brought out all of these new people who are interested in No Man's Sky again because of this good press it's gotten. And all of a sudden, people were like, "Oh, Sean Murray's a really cool guy." At no point did we question why he was important to the conversation surrounding the game. He just was. You couldn't divorce No Man's Sky from the conversation about the artist Sean Murray. And I found that really interesting in terms of like the way he dominated it. Kojima, another big example. Suda51, big example. These are people who...
Suda's on a league. Like, yes, Kojima exists. Suda's on a league of his own.
Exactly. Suda, I'm not even sure if Suda's real or if he's a computer program that gains sentience. Like,
No, he is the computer program who has possessed a wrestling ring, and every game is just the wrestling matches projected to the wrestling ring. That is Suda 51.
Makes sense to me.
Good
Yeah.
enough.
And so, like, I was really, like, fascinated by this conversation. So I guess I want to throw it out to you guys as far as, what do we think of this trend? Is it important to be marking individual artists in the gaming industry, or is it devaluing the work that is going on by literally hundreds of people behind the scenes? Like, can we really point to a game and say, this is his creation, or her creation, or their creation? Say, like, this is a Hideo Kojima production, not a production from a 100-strong team of developers.
I'm so conflicted on
Aaron,
this
if you
one.
have something. So I have thoughts, but I think I'm gonna be the negative view. So if you want to start with like the good news.
See, I'm
Let's
also
give you some
like
time to
kind of
sort it
negative
out.
about it.
Oh yeah,
like-
if that's what we think the topic is, it's a negative view on this phenomenon. Please, by all means, let's do it.
I think it's okay for like indie games because it's like 5 people. I mean, sure.
Toby Smith was his name. Toby, whoever who did Undertale,
Toby Fox.
Yeah,
did
that.
everything. Toby
And,
Fox
like,
did everything.
I've never played Undertale, but I know Toby Fox because his name is synonymous with Undertale. And that's, I think, like something you wouldn't have gotten back in the 90s when gaming was really popping off.
We have Phil Fish. We have
Yes and no.
Jonathan Blow.
We have Phil Fish. Phil Fish was now for good. Taking Phil Fish as a personality out of the equation, Phil Fish was destroyed because his name was all over Fez. Not because people didn't like Fez, but because people associated Fez and the development of Fez 2 as just Phil Fish. And
Phil Fish the game.
that's the dark side of it, right? It's at that point, Phil Fish isn't they dehumanized him, right? Like, they humanized Fez 2 and dehumanized Phil Fish into one entity, and it was his downfall. Like, he had a breakdown. Like, the guy doesn't deserve, whether you like him or not, whether you think he handled the situation well or not, nobody deserves to have that
No.
put on them.
And that's the dark side
And-
of having your name all over a game. But I think like a brighter side for like bigger studios, like a Bethesda game comes out and it's fucking horrendously filled with bugs. Everyone's shitting on fucking Todd Howard, not the fucking developers.
Yeah.
Bethesda and Todd Howard.
I mean-
So I feel like for developers, it's good in that sense because like
You have a target. For the
yeah, all
blame.
the targets on fucking Todd Howard.
Brayden, you said, you didn't really see this in the 90s, but need I remind you that John Romero is going to make you his bitch with Daikatana.
This is true. This is
Like,
true.
I think that is the original video game auteur, because he was the first like rock star game developer. He partied, flew in jets, had like penthouses with pools and champagne. Like, John Romero was Doom and Quake and Wolfenstein, and Daikatana was sold on his name. Nobody blames the team for Daikatana being a garbage fire. They blame John Romero. John Romero, deserves some shit, kind of in the same way Sean Murray did with the marketing, and like literally the tagline of John Romero is going to make you his bitch. Like, but he didn't solely create Daikatana.
Yeah, I think that the thing with games is that in the vast majority of cases, they can never have like there's like very rare occasions where you have one person handling everything, and it usually is happening in the very small indie direction of it. Small studios are not a thing in the AAA industry. Small studios don't survive in the AAA industry. The vast majority of games that are reaching like major distribution and everybody knows about will work with hundreds of people, and I don't think you get that with something like a film set, for example, where a film set is, you could make an argument that it's more the result of one person's work than it is a whole mass of people. I think with games, it's very difficult to make that argument because it's so many systems working that are like so many different people contributing to it. It's a monumental effort. So like, can we really let one artist kind of take the glory of a phenomenal work? Or is it like that's appropriate because they're the director, they're the designer, they're the creative lead of it all?
I think we're less likely to give people the individual glory. Yeah, it's still going to happen. Like, we're still going to hold people like Shigeru Miyamoto up, whether he deserves it or not at this point. We will be more likely to associate the negativity with the single person. Like, people love Fable, but they're still going to shit on Peter Molyneux because he can't describe his vision properly and overpromises and oversells. Look at Fable, look at Spore, look at Goddess, look at Milo on the Kinect, like everything
What are you
Peter
talking
Molyneux
about?
says.
Milo is a tragedy. It's a shame that we have never seen that realized. Milo knows your name. He knows who you
That
are.
poor boy is still stuck in the Xbox.
I know. He's still in there. Milo, come back.
This is why the singularity is going to happen, is because we treated Milo, we abused him.
Milo is never forgotten.
Like, the Sean, I don't follow No Man's Sky, but like you said, Sean Murray is getting a lot of the credit for things with No Man's Sky getting good. Does he deserve it alone? Absolutely not.
No.
But he seems to be the rarer case, I should say, of people praising an individual for the change. A lot of the time, like, you hear positive changes coming, and it's like, this studio did it.
The team over at blank.
Yeah, like recently the team behind Star Wars Squadron announced free DLC after when the game came out. They're like, there's never going to be any DLC. Like, this is the game.
This
We're
is
not
it.
adding anything.
Have fun
we're
with
done.
it.
And now they're like, hey, we had such a good reaction from everybody. Yeah, we're taking some of the community points of what they're looking for, adding some maps, adding new ships. Like, here's a B-wing bomber. And I think more people are like, yeah, the team is doing that versus like the individual creative head, right? So
I'll confess my own relationship with this topic is that I'm a big fan of Obsidian, a RPG studio that is based out in America. And specifically, I know of some of the writers on staff. One of them is Chris Avallone, a dude that I'm a big fan of. I've read his work. No longer such a big fan because of fucking Me Too movement, of course, is going to come out about this guy that I really enjoy, because that's how people are. They have shitty dark sides that are getting exposed all the time. Anyway, big fan of this dude's writing, loved his work. When he left Obsidian, I was all of a sudden like, oh no, am I going to have the same experience that I enjoyed? And it was all of a sudden like, I was have to question like I liked the games and they were made by this studio, yet I suddenly hear this writer is leaving the staff and I'm like, oh, I guess the games are going to be bad now. Like, how much of that personal touch was really there in the first place to get me excited about the property? Like, you know, it's something where I was like convinced I wasn't going to enjoy this because I wasn't tied to that particular writer anymore. But, you know, whether or not that's true is kind of up for debate.
I think it depends on the studio, because you have like BioWare that's lost how many of the original people? They lost 2 more in the past week, and their games have just been dropping in quality.
JC Hudson and the creative designer for Dragon Age have both left right after they were announcing a new Mass Effect game was also in the works. And then the guy that brought Mass Effect to us ditched the company for the second time.
Yeah. And it's interesting, especially with writers, like, people were, I don't know if excited is the right word, but people are very excited for one of the next named FromSoft games, which is Elden Ring. and it was announced that George R.R. Martin, the author behind A Song of Ice and Fire, which is Game of Thrones, was brought on to do writing with it. And does that make people more inclined to want to play Elden Ring? Are they there because, I love George R.R. Martin? Or are they there because they love what Hidetaka Miyazaki does? Or just what From puts out every time? Like, why do people go there? And then in the end, are people going to think of it as a George R.R. Martin game? Are they going to think of it as another thing by Hidetaka Miyazaki? Or is it just going to be another From Software game to fill in From Software's catalog?
Yeah, I think people are going to go there for all those reasons. But as to who the glory goes to, I think you're going to have to wait and see how much George R.R. Martin did for the game. Because he's like, I just want a couple characters. That's going to change everything.
George R.R. Martin has done so much for this game already because it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, exactly. Jokes on everyone. It's going to be 20 years before this comes out.
Anything parts of a George R.R. Martin release
never comes out.
Is it medieval fantasy? Yes. Is it dark? Yes. Is it out? No. It's George R.R. Martin. That motherfucker's been over all of this.
like the Elden Ring memes are like fucking. There's a Souls YouTuber who did a contest of hey, we all want this game to come out, but it's never going to. So draw me your best fan art of what you think the bosses are gonna look like.
My God. And it's true, you got a whole community slavering for it, and we're all hooked into that juice. And I think a lot of it is people attribute that to one developer, Miyazaki, because again, don't know anyone else on staff. I know Miyazaki. I know Miyazaki likes Berserk. I know Miyazaki read a bunch of Western novels but didn't understand what they were saying, so he filled in his own information, and that explains why the Souls games are written the way they are. All of that I contribute to the success of that franchise. Is it the sole thing that we can point to and say that is the creator thumbprint? It's hard.
I think the direction of a game is probably contributed to one person, but the game as a whole, it's because of hundreds of people that worked on it. I think that's a good way to look at it. Because really, a Kojima game, that's all him. Let's be honest. That random ass shit, that's fucking him. But
I think
obviously,
all the story beats are him, but you can't discredit the artists and producers that go behind. But absolutely, he has ultimate control, veto powers everywhere. He's gonna put in nanomachines, son.
Can you imagine being the graphic designer that gets set down with Kojima and it's I need you to do a hyper-realistic woman that is a Spec Ops soldier. She wears nothing because she breathes through her skin, and she's really got a tragic story that will make you regret your words and deeds once you find out about it. And you're just sitting there okay. What do you need me to animate again? Sorry? Oh, okay, you want me to animate chest physics. Okay. The person who has to sit there and deal with all of Kojima's shit, I'd love to be on the fly on the wall in that conversation.
I need you to animate someone shitting into a garbage can.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I could do that. MGS4, Johnny.
God. This happened?
Yes.
Oh.
Which one?
Kojima's obsessed with scat jokes.
Fucking Johnny.
Shows up
I've only played 2 and 4.
Okay, the guy in 2 that you're watching him while he's running across a bridge, you're looking at him through a sniper scope. That dude.
Oh. Yeah.
Johnny Sasaki. That's his last name, right? Sasaki? I remember It was Johnny, but I can't remember. Anyway.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it is Johnny, because then he marries Meryl.
Yes.
At the end of 4.
Yeah.
God.
The moment fans have been clamoring for.
I never know if any of that game is real or a fever dream.
It's the internet has memed it into existence. We all woke up one morning and it was nanomachines, son, let's do it. I'm absolutely convinced that that's what happened with Revengeance. I don't think that's an actual thing. I don't think I can actually go and find and play it.
I don't know if Nanomachine Son is a line in the game anymore, because I look it up and I can't find it. But I swear to God, Senator Armstrong is Nanomachine Son, but I can't find it anywhere. Anyway, I've tried. Is it a line?
I don't even know what that game looks like at the final battle, because all I know about it are Armstrong memes, and he's not even a character for most of it. I think again could just be a mass hallucination the internet had.
I still have a copy of it.
Most of the characters are just like
Oh yeah,
children's
it's
brains,
off
eyes,
screen.
and
How
final-
convenient. Go ahead and produce it for us. Oh wait, you
You know
can't.
what? You know what? I will go grab it.
Fucking
He
fake
does
news
own
here.
like every PlayStation 3 game, and they're still sealed because he never plays them.
Oh man. Oh, so he's
Yeah.
never played it, so he can't confirm whether or not it's a real
Yeah, no,
thing.
I doubt he's played it. Like you think it's bad that I have 13.2 and never played it? Like,
Okay,
no.
for a second, I got scared that it wasn't there anymore, and that I imagined it, but I have it. This game is real.
Have you played it?
No,
Have you played it?
no.
I
It's the disc
knew
in
it.
it.
I
The
told
disc
him.
is
On
in
the
it.
disc.
The disc is in
So
it.
they-
I don't know if there's any like game on the disc, but it.
There's only one way to settle this. Aaron, you have to stream it. Our friend Aaron is a streamer. He's got a Twitch channel. I'm throwing in a random promotion for
Yeah.
you because
Yeah.
we need to sit
There we
down
go.
and watch. We need to sit down and watch this man play
I have to hook
Revengeance
up my
to
PS3
confirm
now.
that it is actually a game.
What if this
This
is just another layer to the simulation?
Oh God,
my
I'm a
God.
part of it. Kojima paid me.
Like here's the thing. Kojima is so deep up his own asshole about ARGs that this is still part
This
of
is
the ARG.
the ARG.
It's the ARG and then life begin.
Like this is part of Moby Dick's studio. Call me Ishmael.
Amazing.
Fuck it. When the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5 dropped, they did it as a completely different,
Different
game by
game,
a completely different studio, and it was an anagram for all. It was like what?
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
That is a video game tour.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if he deserves all the credit for Metal Gear Solid. He gets it. I think that there's a lot of people who contributed to that, and in many cases, the best games were the ones where he was toned down and reined in by fellow creators.
I think Kurt Russell deserves a lot of credit for Metal Gear Solid for portraying Snake Plissken.
What was the name of Metal Gear Solid 2? Iroquois Pliskin for his code name?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
Iroquois Plisken.
It's canon
Yeah.
that everybody in the Metal Gear Solid universe is a fucking dork. That is a universe where the first rule is that everyone's a nerd.
I mean, this is the guy who named a character Die Hardman.
Die Hardman. And you know what? Best performance in the game. Tommy Lee Jones. No, it wasn't Tommy Lee Jones. Jesus, it was somebody else.
Die Hard, and his name was John McClane. Like Die
Amazing.
Hardman was his code name, and
Yeah. Oh, fuck. All right, I think we're getting close to wrapping this episode up here, folks.
Yes.
this went off the rails, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it definitely did. It was a good episode. I'm proud of us.
Now,
Hey.
don't forget to go back and find all of the Kojima Productions ARG Easter eggs that we scattered throughout the episodes.
Yeah, it's scattered
And-
throughout. Like you just got to check each frame.
Yeah. Truth is out there.
And also, what is it? I Love Bees.
That was the Halo 2 one, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, it's still going. It
Yep.
crossover event. I spoiled it.
Oh, well, good
Anyway,
job.
till next week.
All right.
Have
So
a
long,
good one,
everybody.
guys.
Bye, guys.